Shemai everyone. I'm feeling inspired with Christmas cards again. I love making Christmas cards. They are my favourite occasion to craft for. So I'm back today with this card here, which is a pop-up book card. So if you look there, it looks like the pages of a book. When it stands on the mantelpiece, it looks a little bit like that. So I thought I would show you how I did it. I have watched quite a few tutorials because it does take me a little bit of time to pick new concepts up, I would say. So then, as you can see, it all folds down flat. And this card is actually 6 by 6. And I'm going to create today's with the lovely Gnome stamp set. I love this stamp set so much. And it's Gnome for the holidays. So I'm using this one. I've also used from, I don't know if it was last or the year before, Making Christmas Bright, just that little string of lights. I've used my rectangle framelit dies. And I've also used the Trim in the Town designer paper. So I'm going with an old olive card for today because I love the spotty side of this paper here because it reminds me of like toadstools, spotty toadstools, and I thought gnomes obviously would be in spotty toadstools. So what I've actually done, I've done a little bit of inking around my images. I've done this one off screen just to take a little bit of just to try to cut down the video slightly, and as you can see, I've cut my little characters out of post-it notes. So I can use those then as a mask. And I used Misty Moonlight to ink around. Now, as you can see there, I've got a little bit of white because I didn't go in really close to the mistletoe. So I'm going to show you the trick I've got. I've got my Misty Moonlight blender pen. I'm just going to carefully, I'm using the light one there as well. I'm just going to carefully fill in the sections that I couldn't get close to with my ink. Just to fill in. There we go. And it is slightly different colour, but yeah, there's the light one. Nobody's going to notice. So if you just sort of lightly colour, you can sort of colour then any pieces that you've missed. I must be honest, the mistletoe on his hat was a little bit of a challenge to cut out because if you cut it too close, there's the tiniest of little black lines joining it to the rest of his hat. So I didn't want to cut that off. I'm also going in around the bauble. I'm going to do a little bit of paper piecing on his hat as well, because I thought he would have a really jazzy sort of hat. So there we go. I've got his little hat here. I'm going to see if I can zoom in for you. There we are. I've zoomed in slightly for you. My camera's a little bit of a pain because of the way my camera setup is I can see exactly what I'm doing on my television, but it's a little bit of a pain then to try to change the focus or anything on it. So there he is there with his little spotty hat. He's rather cute, isn't he? And then I've used this then, the stamp set which says Holly Jolly Everything, which from the Gnome for the holidays. And I've heat embossed that using white. So I'm going to stick this now onto my old olive stitch framelit mat. There we go. I just thought by adding a little bit of ink in the background, it looks like they're out on a dark night. I'm just going to put that on there then. I'm doing it quite early. Well, when I say quite early, I'm doing it about 9:30 on a Sunday morning. And it's a lovely day out there, but it doesn't know whether it wants to be really sunny or a bit cloudy. There we go. So I'm now going to stick that on the front of my card there. And then I'm going to show you how to actually make the card. There we go. Stick those little fellas there. So that's the outside of your card, which as you can see is is actually, I've used a 12 by 12 sheet and I've cut it in half. So this is 6 by 12 scored at 6. So I've now got the other half of the card left. And here's where the magic begins. I'm just going to move all my little characters out the way. I always keep these then in my stamp case to use again. In fact, just so I can keep it safe, I'm going to do this. Will actually go on the inside of the card here. So I'm just going to show you how I inked up the other one. I'm going to use my little mat there. Then I'm using these really soft blending brushes. Pick up your ink and really gently and sort of buff off on the side as well. And I'm not going down to the bottom here because I'm going to have some soft suede across the bottom as if it's the forest floor. There we go. As you can see there, I've picked up a little bit of ink on my finger, so I might have to, off camera later, put a few stars on here or something. Where there's a will, there's a way. Okay. Then I'm going to use my other blender brush here. Actually, I'm using Old Olive. I was going to use soft suede. I thought I'd go for the Old Olive to keep in with the colour. And now it's gone a little bit dark again, light again. Oh, that's the problem sometimes with doing it in the morning. Now my Old Olive is the original one I bought about 12 years ago, I think. I think it could do with a little bit of ink. There we go. So there's my grassy, the grassy bottom of my tree. I'm just going to lift it slightly. I've just noticed I've got my Old Olive pen now, so I might have to touch that one up later. And I'm just going to carefully now, even though I've moved this off like this, I'm going to try and fill that in, and I'll do it then with my pen again because I've got a little bit of a harsh line around it like this. Around the lights I just need to sort of fill it in there, and then with my Old Olive pen later I'll fill in the bottom bits. And I'm just going to do my stones. I'm going to use soft suede here. There we go. So I'm going to keep my mask, as I say. Masks are all the rage these days, obviously. So that's going to be my insert. And then on the other side, I've stamped this one saying there's no place like Gnome for the Christmas season. I stamped my lights, and because I'd smudged it, I added some ink around the corners. So I'm going to put that safe over there while I then create the card. Move everything out of my way. So I've done a little bit of a template here. So as you can see, it is 6 by 12. Okay. Then the first thing I did was I did this cut line first, and it's 2 inches in, 1 inch from the top. So what I'm going to do now with my scoreboard is I'm going to put the edge of my card on the 1 inch line, and then I'm going to score from 2 to 10. Okay, 2 to 10. There we go. Then I'm going to flip my card around, and once again I'm going to score from 2 to 10. I'm going to have to lift this up because I can't see even with my glasses on. There we go. 2 to 10 again. So as you can see there, I've got this going on. So I don't need my trimmer anymore. I'm going to bring in my scoreboard now. Okay, so now I am going to be scoring at 4 inches, and I'm going from there to my cut line. Just from there to my cut line. Like that. Then I'm going right down the card at 6 inches. So obviously you've got to be careful here because you've got your cut line. Try to do it at a bit of an angle so you don't sort of tear it. Then I'm going at 8. Now what you could do, you can either do it this way or you can do the one side and flip your card around. So I'm going to flip it around now. I'm going to go from 4 again. And then this one is at 8. Okay. Then we've got a score line at 2. Then if you think 2 3/4, that's going to be your next one. Now this is the tricky bit sometimes, is trying to find the track for your stylus to run through. Flip it around. Go from 2. So I sort of follow it down gently, but obviously don't score at the top. And then once again 2 3/4. And that's what it looks like. Okay, so this one was 4, this one is 8, 4, 8, full score at 6, score at 2, 2 3/4, flip it around, score at 2, then 2 3/4. Okay, now that's all the scoring finished. The tricky thing then, I'm not selling this very well, am I? It is really easy, but what you've got to do is you score them all separately. Don't think, right, oh, I'll fold that, and because this section here is actually a valley fold and the top sections are a mountain fold. So I'm going to do my mountain folds there. I'm just going to go gently. I'm not going to burnish them yet, if you see what I mean. I'm going to do that when they're all in place, like that. So we've got valley. And as I say, just be careful. I'm trying to get it in your screen. But just be careful not to fold them all at once. Don't get excited and go mad and go do them all at once. There. There. Then this one here is a valley fold. This is a slightly trickier one because you're trying to fold the inner piece. Not the, now once you've got that going on, bring in your bone folder. Okay, this one then is a valley fold. So now I'm going to score that one without doing all the other pieces. This one is valley and the next one is a mountain. Okay. So this is how it's looking so far. Okay. Once you've got it all in the right place, fold it over and burnish to your heart's content without obviously cracking your card. So that's what it's going to look like. So it does take a little bit of manoeuvring. Don't be too heavy-handed, which is quite difficult for me because I am quite heavy-handed. So now we're going to decorate it. So this goes here and this one goes that side. The first thing I'm going to do is put my DSP on, and my DSP, if you think that the whole piece would be 6 inches by 2 inches, and just cut it a smidgen smaller. I've actually done it at 5 7/8 and 1 7/8. But if you find those sort of measurements a little bit fiddly, which I do, to be honest, then just cut them slightly smaller. What I'm going to do, I've got my template with all my measurements on, so I will put, this is driving me mad, this light now, I will put a picture of that on the end for you. At least then you can have a look at that. There we go. So I'm going to use this lovely spotty paper to decorate it all up. I need to find my new Tombow bottles because I've nearly finished this one as well. I'm using liquid adhesive, only so I can just make sure they're wiggled into space. Ready, like that. And press it down. And then these ones are all the same. They are 1 7/8 by 7/8. So just under 2 by 1 inch. I'll just decorate these then. And make sure it sticks down really hard, because the one I did as a practice one, my paper was sort of lifting in the corners. Right. Put these these ones in first. And then, oh, there we go. I love this spotty paper. And obviously at the moment, Stampin' Up, I've got many selected papers at 15% off. So it's a really good buy. There we are. So this is the Trim in the Town paper, with the one with all the little houses on. It's a lovely paper pack. Even if you don't buy the stamp set, you can get so much use out of just the papers. I haven't bought the stamp set because I've got a similar stamp set from a few years ago. So then I'm going to do these pieces here. Like that. And then just sort of flatten your card out a little bit to get these little tricky pieces in. Like that. I thought I'd get up in my craft room and have a little conversation about myself, whether I should go for a run after it then. But I thought at least if I get in my craft room first, then I won't be thinking, oh, I won't go for a run. I might do my cleaning and then go and do some crafting. Let's get the fun things out the way first, isn't it? There we go. Right, just put that last little one in. And now, as you can see, I haven't, if you wanted to, you could also decorate those edges, but I think there's plenty of decoration on it. I'm now going to do the little insert, and obviously this is the section you'd write on, unless you wanted to do something on the back. And it does go into, because it's 6x6 card, you would need a slightly bigger than a 6x6 envelope. I get around that by making my own envelopes. An envelope punch board is the best thing I've invested in, because now you're not thinking, oh, what size can I make it? Okay, just press that down. So that's the inside of my card. Okay, so then if I were you, once again, just burnish it down again. That's the inside of my card. That's the outside of my card. So the next bit is to fit this together. Now, you need it to be completely flush. And because it's going to open up like this, you only want glue. I've put glue on this big section here and these two little sections up to the score line. And that's it, because if you put it on any of the other pieces, your card won't open like it's supposed to. There we are, filling those sections there. Carefully then, make sure you button up right to the edge of the card there, and top and bottom, like that. How sweet is this paper with these gnomes? There we go. And then the way I did it then was I folded it all over like that, put the glue on this side, like this. So be very careful not to go anywhere else. Okay, so there it is in place. Then let me just get that off my finger. Fold that over and press it down. Make sure that's butted in there. And press down. And there it is. There's the finished card. So the recipient has the card like that. They think, oh, that's a pretty card. And then they open it and ta-da! So that is the book fold pop-up card. And when it's on their mantelpiece, it's going to look like that. So, I hope you give it a try. As I say, every time, thank you so much for joining me. And for subscribing and for all your likes and your lovely comments. They mean such a lot to me. And it shows that you're enjoying what I'm doing. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time. I must say, though, that is such a lovely stamp set to use. And the great thing is, you can use any stamp set for any occasion and make the recipient's day. So thank you for joining me, friendiau. Take care and I'll see you soon. Hwyl fawr!